Well, viewers, hope you come back and watch me again this morning. We got a few things I want to go over. First of all, it's been a dead blame month since I fished. It's so dead blame hot. 97, 98 degrees, but finally we had some rain and it's cooled down. I think it's supposed to be 88 today. So I said, I'm going fishing, see if I can do a little video. Catch a few fish. It ain't nothing special. I'm just dropping. I'm going to stab some with my 14 foot on some brush. And here's my hook up. There's my 14 foot blue rod. And just got a jig head and a minnow. And right there, there's I got a 1/4 ounce egg sinker with a split shot holding it up. And we're just going to drop it right down on top of the brush and see what we can do. But another thing is, I got something I want for you millennials and this Generation Z. I think that's it, Generation Z. That's the youngest one or something like that. And just a few little old tips about if you ever want to become a fisherman, what's going to really help you in the long run. All right, let's see if we can get down. I got my brush pile right here in front of me. I'm going to drop it down. I got my line scope. It don't look like there's nothing big on it. And I got a minnow, and they not wanting to touch it. Because we had a full moon last night. And you know in these full moons, these fish, they go all night long. Because it's cooler, they've got more cover when it's, there he is, hook up. When it's, oh, that's a good fish. Oh, I ain't even got my net. I'm going to keep a couple today too because I ain't been in a month. And about a month ago, I did keep a couple. There we go. But anyway, he sucked that one down. Let me get my net when I get through with this. But I did keep 7 the last time I went. And I ain't got but one bag. And I'm going to use that same minnow. That's a pound fish. That's a good fish right there. I'm just going to put him on some ice. Now I'm getting my net. But the main thing I wanted to talk about, I got 2 grandboys. One of them just got out of college. He's gone to work. And I got another in high school. And something I try to get through to them. If you wanting to be able to do things as you get older, because naturally you're going to get you a woman, but you got to be real careful about getting that woman. And that's what I want to talk to all you millennials. I hope there's some little old young boys listening to this. There's not a whole bunch getting in this crowd anymore, getting into crappie fishing, but I want them to. But just in case you do, there's certain things, you know, you're going to have a boat. And, you know, you're going to have all your sonar and stuff like that. And that's going to cost money. So when you get like that, what you're going to have to do, you know, when you go to picking out your little girlfriend, your little wannabe, you got to be careful how you choose that little girlfriend. And I just got a few tips I want to run it by you. And one of the first things, I reckon you could say rule number 1 is make sure she's a Christian. That means a lot. Let me back up some. I got this fancy dead blame trolling motor, this Quest, but it ain't exactly perfect on these brush piles anyway. But back to that girlfriend, she needs to be a Christian. Know her values and let her know what she should have the same values as you. Because my grandboys, they Christians. They believe the Lord Jesus Christ. And that's probably one of the main things. But, oh man, I miss that son of a gun. But another thing that you really got to check when you're picking out that girlfriend, you got to know her political views. You may think that's dumb, but it ain't dumb, trust me. The way this country is politically divided, that if you and her don't have the same political views, it ain't gonna work. So that's, rule number one, rule number two, and when you're looking, she's gotta have a job. She may be in school now, and that's fine. But even if you get these little old young gals in school, they ambitious anyway. They may babysit, they may do this, they may get a part-time job. And even if they're in college, they might try to do a little bit of something like this. But make sure you know their worth ethics, and it compares to yours. If you're worthless, like my grandkids, they're not worthless, they work. But if you're worthless, don't expect that little old gal to take care of you, because she's not going to do it. She's smart enough to know better than that. But know her worth ethics. And, let that little old gal, she wants to be original. I mean, you want her to be original. You don't want to be, going out, and you don't want to be having a whole lot to do with one of them OnlyFans. In other words, everywhere she goes, she's got to dress up. And dressing up's fine because, especially if you got a girlfriend, your wife, or anything like that, they want to please their man when you go out, and they want to be looking good. And that there's not a thing wrong with that. It sort of makes you proud. But she don't need to look like that every time you go out. You want to see that little old girl's original look. When you and her just hanging out together, if she don't have makeup on, that is a plus. Let them know how you feel about that, that they don't have to dress up just for you. I'm right down there in them. They looking at it, but I believe these fish fed all night, and that's one thing about a full moon of people always want to know how these fish react to a full moon. And it's cloudy this morning, and that moon is just now setting down. So these fish should be in a feeding mood this morning, but they fed all night because that moon was up all night. There he is, hook up. It just takes a while. Now this is a little old skipper here. He ain't worth a crap, but it's a skipper. It's a fish. We're not going to be keeping him. But anyway, you want that little old gal to be original. And it's fine. Say y'all get invited out to a little old party or something like that. She's working. She's got a job. Because you're going to be spending money too on your little old habit and stuff like that. And she deserves to spend a little money. Maybe she wants to get her nails done, and that's fine. Because nails, I'm telling you, that's expensive. Some of them nails, I talked to my little old grandboys. He's got a little old girlfriend, and I asked her, I said, just how much is them nails? She said, I don't get them done much, but during the summertime I've got them done. They're about $40. And I said, well, she's working. Yeah, and that's fine. But them ones that's got to have them 2-inch, they got them 2-inch fingernails like that's hanging out. They're strutting around. They can't even pick a credit card up. Them girls ain't going to work, Bo. All they want to do is be looking good. And you don't want that. So you got to make sure her principles are compatible with yours. And you see it all the time. These little old OnlyFans and whatever they are, they always out here, and they got them eyelashes about that long. And God give you a pretty set of eyes. God give you eyelashes. God give you fingernails. And, you know, to me, if I see this original girl, she's got her fingernails, she don't have to have long fingernails, they're just manicured. My wife, she just cuts hers off because she works out in the dirt all the time. But now she's a looker now, don't get me wrong, but she's original. And most of the time these girls, when you're just hanging out with them, you know, they don't have to doll up for you. You know, let them be that original, because if you don't know that little old girl's original look, you're going to be in trouble. And especially if she wants to fish. Now, you take that little old girl fishing, you say, you want to go fishing, baby? And, you know, she says, yeah. And I tell you, I'm a firm believer about that full moon. That full moon has a lot to do with a lot of fishing. Them fish, I don't believe that was a bite. I believe I just plain lost that. That was a dead minnow anyway. But I believe that full moon has everything in the world with these fish biting, especially in the summertime when it's hot, 86-degree water. That these fish, they're not getting out there in the day. They're gonna hug the bottom, they're gonna go deeper, they're gonna get on this brush. And they're gonna come out at night, especially on that full moon. Hook up. I don't believe there's nothing to him. That's just another little skipper. It's terrible. But the dead blame wind has picked up too. And it's supposed to be 5-mile-an-hour winds. But if this is 5, I hope it's just this early morning breeze that we're getting. Because I don't want to mess with this all day. I believe the very last video I done, I was on this lake and that wind, I lost the camera. That wind blowing 900 miles an hour. Hook up. I'm just going from brush pile to brush pile. That might be a pretty decent one right there. I got my net. That feels good. He's a keeper. Oh, come on in there, baby. That'd be 2. And like I said, I need at least 7. 7 to give me 1 bag of fillets. That's 14 pieces. And that makes an awful good meal for a couple of people. And then you can have some for breakfast the next morning. But anyway, back to you know, you Gen X's or Gen Z's and millennials, I think that's what you call it. You're trying to pick that little old gal out, and when you get that little old gal picked out, you want to make sure that she knows what kind of deal you getting. You tell her just how pleased you are. You go out somewhere and, like I said, you taking her fishing, and you let her know, said, baby, you the prettiest thing on the water today. I'm so glad you went fishing with me. And she may not, her hair ain't combed or nothing, but she's original. She's that little old gal that you want to take fishing. She's that little old gal that you want to take over to see your grandpa. Because, you know, grandpa likes to make sure that you're took care of. And I will say my oldest one, he's got a little old gal, and she's a good little old gal. She likes to fish, and I think she hunts a little bit, turkey hunts and stuff like that. Her family, she was raised like that. That actually gives him a little bit of a plus when you can find one like that. But never forget, hook up. Never forget to treat them with respect. That's that little old junker. Compliment her. Brag on her. And she will love you like no end. Because, you know, she wants attention too. And like I said, it's a plus if she'll go fishing with you. If she'll go hunting with you, you know, that's a plus. It ain't something that's got to happen. Like I said, my little woman, now she loves to fish, but she don't go with me that much anymore. One of these days she will. But she's still working. And she loves to work. And she knows that as long as she buys me stuff, I don't care for her working. I got some new seats. I got brand new carpet in my boat. It looks just like new. Guess who bought that? My little woman. Hook up. That looks like another pretty good one. I can't turn him around. Maybe, I don't know. I hope it's a crappie. But anyway, I was telling you about my wife. You know, she's easy on the eyes. She's a looker, but I let her know it, and that's what you little Gen Zers need to do. Oh yeah, that's a pretty good one. Let them know how pretty they are and how happy you are that they are fishing with you. That's the biggest thing. And if you do that, those few things that I run by you, I think that, you know, you can find you a woman that you can be proud of and compatible with that fits your criteria. I can't get this one. Open your mouth. Lord. He is all hung up. Every which way he can be hung up. Stop it. I'm going to let you go. Let you go in that ice box and you going home to some grease is what you going to do. Man, he wouldn't have come loose in 3 days. But now I'm telling you, that right there, that's a big Shirley right there. Let's go get us another one. But we're probably gonna have to change brush piles. I mean, that's why you need so many brush piles. I don't know what it is, but you seem to catch one, maybe two, and they shut up. They done. And I'm gonna see if we can catch a nutting off of this one before we move. Well, I think this is brush pile number 6. And we got that wind just a whipping. Hook up. See if I can get him on this side of the boat. Well, I'm gonna have to get him on this side of the boat. I believe it's a decent one. If I don't lose him. Yep. And let's see here. I don't know. This is 5 or 6. But this is brush pile number 6. It seemed to me like all we're doing is averaging one decent fish a brush pile. Oh, he's a good one too. No doubt about that. And that wind is picking up, picking up, picking up. All right, let me see if I can get another minnow on here. I'm still trying to cast at these fish and just throw over them. Oh man. They come right, they acted like they was hungry, but they didn't do nothing to it. Except get what they wanted. I think, yeah, they got the men off of it. But they come up and slapped that thing. Let me try to get them again. This is an old brush pile here. And when you put them in year after year after year, they just sort of get scattered because you can't get everything right on top. So these are scattered in about a 40-foot area. There's an old one right here in the bunch. Hook up. Just letting it float right across them. That's a keeper. Stop it. $12, 13 ounces. Probably can't catch you nothing, but we'll see. All right. Hook up. Might be a little bit better one. Did you see that? How many am I gonna lose today? I think something's wrong with that hook. Hook up. You see that? Hook up. Little bit better. Hook up. Junker. Hook up. I don't believe this is a crappie. I believe this is a whiskers. It's an old catfish. He's pretty, but he's pretty nasty is what he is. Oh, he sucked that thing too. You're gonna have a sore throat, old boy. What a mess. Well, I think that's probably gonna wind it up. I got to retie this son of a gun. He just got a total mess out of it. But you daddies and you grandpas, if you got them grand boys or if you got them grand girls, you know, teach them a little bit about what you know, because this day and time they need all the help they can get. But in the meantime, You know, y'all check me out, www.southerncrappierods.com. I'm Ed.